Well, welcome guys, thanks for checking out this video. I thought I'd do something a little bit different this time, as recently we've had the good news of a pre-orders coming up for the up and coming Retroid Pocket 3. Now I have done some content in the past for the original Retroid Pocket 2 and also the 2 Plus. I still got mine here and it's one of my favourite handhelds to go to for retro gaming emulation. So when this got announced, I thought this was pretty awesome. I'm personally a big fan of these retro gaming emulation handhelds. I do have a few and I have covered content on my channel in the past, so if you want to go check them out, that'd be absolutely great. I also did a reaction video to the release of the RTK1. I'll just put that name up there for you guys, I can't remember that. But I did have some good feedback with that, and I originally thought that was going to be the Retroid Pocket 3, because if you see the design, it does resemble a lot like this. I have already placed my pre-order through Go Retroid because I can't wait to get my hands on this, and Retroid Pocket does have a good brand. So now let's head to the main website, goretroid.com, and have a good sneak peek of what is coming to us, and more details on that pre-order information. So here we are. We can see the design is very different to the original one already. It does have that widescreen 16:9 type of feature, which is something I've been personally asking for, because that 4:3 does limit you to those harder to push consoles like the PSP. So now this is great, but you can see they have switched the analog stick and the D-pad around, which is something I did not expect because that was their signature feature. So I didn't think that would be coming, but if we look now at the D-pad, it is also different to the Retroid Pocket 2 as well. Even though the Plus one is very comfortable and I thought they would just carry that over, they do have something quite different here. If we look, there is a microphone hole, so perhaps we can get some recording on the go, and some DS games that do utilize that. So we got the three main colors, which is the purple, the grey, white and the black. If you scoop down, we do have some buttons on the side. They are the main buttons and they do look pretty nice. There's no other buttons altogether, just the front end, which is a D-pad, 2 analog sticks and the main buttons. No shortcuts or any function buttons. It is stating that it's a built-in game assist for APKs for screen mapping, seamless support for popular Android games. So much like the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, you do have an app so you can have overlay controls and some overclocking support perhaps. Let's have a quick look. So it gives you the reads, like the frames per second that is going on the game, which is pretty nice, the degrees of the handheld and the CPU usage, and you can also get some other shortcuts going, perhaps even record yourself live and stream it, much like the Retroid Pocket 2 already. We also get some HDMI output support, which is awesome because now this has a higher resolution, it looks like, with 720p 60 frames. So we're going to get a decent video output. We're not going to be stuck with that 4:3 ratio, which does not really look great with your main TV setup. It's also promoting some online streaming, so you can stream your PC straight to the device, perhaps even get some Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation 5 that we already have already, but with this screen ratio I think is going to be more situated. So I'll go into more of the details and features that they are promoting, but it does state here that the power is a lot more better than the Retroid Pocket 2, but this is the original 1.5 GHz. It's not comparing it to the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. So as you can see, that's a big step up. But it would be better if they compare that with the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. So we got the details now of all the functions on the handheld. So at the top we do have the TF card, the USB-C charging, and then we have the audio jack. No HDMI out. Yep, that is a microphone, the D-pad, joystick, L3. Oh sweet, so we do have clickable analog sticks now finally with the Retroid Pocket. They've caught up now with Ambernic. At the top now we do have start and select. Not sure if I'm much of a fan of that. I'm always used to start and select on the front facing of the handheld, or even on the game controller. Not really sure how that's going to play out until I get my hands on that. So we do have the HDMI out, because that was the bottom bit, wasn't it? Yeah, that was bottom. So the bottom bit has the USB-C and the audio jack. The audio jack at the bottom is just more comfortable to get that cable not getting tangled up from the top end. So start and select, the HDMI out is a micro. I do prefer mini because that's just more of a stable, solid connection. Then we do have the on and off, and those triggers do look really nice. The volume is on the side. Now a lot of people did complain a bit about that with the RG503 of the Ambernic handheld that I recently reviewed. But to be honest, I didn't get much of a accidental trigger with that. I thought you'd be, turning up that volume by mistake because it's on that side, but it didn't actually play up that much, or even at all. So on the other side, we do have the home button. Not too sure if I'm a bit of a fan of this button layout at the moment. I wish that they could have just stuck with the original RP2 Plus and just placed that on a bigger widescreen handheld. So we got the dimensions next to the RP2 original, which is the RP2 Plus as well. So it's a good 34 millimeters wider. I think this is a really nice size, really pocket friendly. And we do have the box in. So it's come in with a micro C cable, a nice condition quality one, manual, and the handheld itself. So it looks like we're not getting any power banks with this. But then again, who doesn't have one already? But it'd be interesting if this is a quick charge battery as well. But the original one is really nice. Does last long, and that standby lasts for days. And just a quick look at the alternative models. We have the black, the indigo, the 16-bit, which is like the American SNES. Then we have the Retroid, which looks like the original Game Boy. And we do have the white. Ooh, I do like the white. And then we have that signature model color from Retroid, the orange. So there's a nice variety of colors that you could choose from already. Now let's check out the specs now, shall we? So the CPU is much like the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, so there's no performance gain with the processor as well. To support Android 11 this time, that has a performance gain of the original Android 9, so we're getting about 20% to 30% better performance. So that's something interesting. We're getting the same type of processor of the Plus, but we're getting a better Android version. It's a 4.7 inch touchscreen, 16 by 9, 650 by 1334, 60 frames per second, 720p HDMI out, and you can support different models. It has a 2GB with 32GB. So 2GB of RAM and 32GB of storage. Oh, there's another model which is 3GB and 32GB of storage. So there's only a difference between a higher model, which is that 1GB of extra RAM. I'm not too sure if there'd be a great performance gain, but again, I would have to get my hands on to see if we can get any higher resolution PSP or even Dreamcast. Oh, sorry, that was just a delivery I had to sort out. Where were we? Oh yeah, on about higher resolution support with that extra bit of RAM. Perhaps we get some better compatibility with some PSP games and Dreamcast. But what else do we have? Let's look. Number 6, we do have improved controls with clickable analog sticks. What I didn't mention earlier, is about time that they caught up with that, and I think that's a great feature. Especially with the improved analog sticks, because they were a bit of a nightmare with the original Retroid Pocket 2. They did alright, they did the job, but the R3 one was just unusable, so it'd be really nice to get a high quality one this time around. It has an alternative dome switch for conductive rubber for D-pad and face buttons. Alternative dome switch, conductive rubber. Not too sure if I'm familiar with that yet. I think it's just kind of got a smoother, rounder texture to it. Again, I just need some hands-on approach to get better understanding with that. So better build quality and better heat dissipation. Metal frame inside. So we're going to have some decent heat control with this handheld, which is great because it's not pushing that hard. It's not going to be overclocking that much. So this may be something that would last in the long run really well. The battery again is 4000 milliamps, much like the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, and that is a good battery. I've had no complaints with that. Number 10, we're on a built-in newest official game launcher and emulator front end. Now that's one really good thing about any Retroid devices. They do support them with its own custom launcher to really suit that device, and that is part of the experience altogether with the handheld. Apart from how it's built, you just need that software to really support and have a good interface. And they also do provide some update and support direct through the software itself, so unlike any other handhelds, they do carry on support with its own firmware and software updates. And number 11, built-in official OTA support with incremental software upgrades, just to sound a bit fancy. Now this is a pre-order, and the pre-order time is set to be 2 weeks. Shipments will start on August the 20th, that was just around the corner. I did sort mine out already, so keep an eye on this channel to get more of a hands-on approach. One little bonus thing if you do pre-order, I did notice through the checkout process, is that you get a couple of things like a screen protector and some other bits and bobs. Let's just scroll up to the top and we'll find that you can choose your color, nice, and then you choose your specification, your specs. So you got your 2, which means your 2 RAM, and then your 32 gig. So you are stuck with the 32 gigabyte SD card, but perhaps a lot of you, including myself, do have their own SD card already made up, ready to go. I do use a 128 scan disc, and that has supported me really well. Now let's just check out that price. You've probably already seen it, but in this type of market, this is what Retroid Pocket 2 are really good of sorting out. Just really hitting that fine soft spot and getting that price down, and like a lot of competition that are doing. But of course the specs are not as high as a lot of the other ones out here, but this may just do a really good job, especially at $120, well $119. But let's check what that is in pounds. So it works out just under £100, but of course you gotta get that shipping cost, and you do have to pay a bit extra for that 3GB model. The postage for DHL, which is the fastest shipment, did cost me almost about £35, so that is a bit pricey. I wanted to get my hands on this as soon as possible to review for you guys. So that brings me to the end of the video, guys. I do hope that you enjoy this. I do apologize that if I'm a bit shiny looking, because it's pretty hot today. Let me know in the comments if you like this type of content, just a little pre-warmer to the actual release, or if you just like me to get a bit of hands-on experience in the first place. So as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like, help and support, click that subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you lot on the next video.